Okay, well, thank you for allowing me a moment of your time tonight. I've been asked to give an update to our residents about the single waste hauler issue. You may recall that about 3 or 4 years ago there was a mailing done to all the homes, a survey to determine whether there was any interest in a single waste hauler. And the vote was relatively close, but there was some interest in pursuing it, and for one reason or another, none that I'm really free to even discuss with you now, it sort of got pushed to the back burner. Earlier this year, the new board was approached again by some residents to reinvestigate or to check into more deeply the single waste hauler issue. Basically what this would mean is creating an ordinance that would prohibit any other waste hauler from picking up waste in Bruce Township. So it's bigger than just giving a guy an advantage. It really actually prohibits others from doing it. That's a big decision to make, and there were some people, I think, that at times thought, well, the board should just make that vote unilaterally, and I know we are compelled to make tough decisions. But maybe because we were new, or maybe because it was a new issue to us, we decided to look at it more deeply. And I know at times that was a little discouraging for some of the residents who are so interested in the single waste hauler issue. And all of us want the best deal for our residents. We want it to be not only the least expensive to you, but we want it to be the most effective as well. We want them to pick up the stuff. We don't want them to leave a mess. And personally, I thought one of the big advantages to it was to not have so many trucks going down our roads, because each time they make a turn or a start or a stop, it's going to do some damage. So that was another effect of it that I thought was important. We started to investigate it this year, and Mrs. Obrecht became the point of contact for it. We appreciate her service in that area because we wanted one person to be able to receive all the information. So no matter who comments came to, we wanted them deflected back to Mrs. Obrecht so we would have a resource of all of those comments when the time came. She did go out and check into the single waste hauler issues in Harrison Township, Shelby Township, Washington Township, and all of those things were very helpful to us in telling us how it had been done other places, keeping in mind that our community is different demographically than those other townships that I mentioned. We continued to pursue it because we wanted to have thorough and complete answers and all the information we could for our residents. This is not something, if you enter into a 3 or 4 or 5 year contract, I feel we had an obligation to do it the right way. And ultimately the board approved the expenditures of some money to our legal team to help us to investigate it. A meeting took place last week with Mrs. Obrecht and Ron Walker, one of our trustees, also our ordinance enforcement officer, who I'm very pleased was eager to participate in this committee, this subcommittee. And they had the meeting with our attorney last week, went over some very important details of the processes and how it had taken place, and this is all very helpful. Towards the end of that meeting, though, it became apparent that we have a large percentage of roads in Bruce Township that are private roads. A private road as opposed to a public road is completely different when you come into creating ordinances, because we have much less authority on a private road. And our attorney advised Mrs. Obrecht and Mr. Walker that we could not compel a private waste hauler or a single waste hauler to go down a private road. With more than half of our roads, as it appears, being private, that meant that the half that are on public roads were going to be the only ones we could actually serve this way. And it's anticipated that that would drive the cost up. We don't have a cost yet. And I think probably what you'll see is that at our next meeting, Mrs. Obrecht will make a recommendation. I don't know what it will be just yet, but having that new information may have some impact on what that recommendation might be. And I think what we hope for the most is that we make a decision that we have all the information on, and I feel like we're gaining on that. But if half the residents are going to be the only ones that can be compelled to participate in this, it probably will change the price. We don't know what the price is, but there's some cost involved in finding out what that is and going through a ballot initiative and such. So we'll wait. We can't. I don't want to speculate as to what her recommendation will be. I'm sure that it will be taken with a high regard from the rest of the board, and I hope that the people that are interested in single waste hauler will be there that night to hear her comments on it. I appreciate the work that she's done on it, and as well as Mr. Walker, and I appreciate that the board approved the money to allow us to get the legal fees done, because had we done this in advance of that, our decision would have been a bad one, I believe. We would have been just a bit premature in making that choice. I'll feel better now that we have all the information, and we'll look forward to hearing that recommendation at our October 16th board meeting. Thank you.